man, Noah, who had the subtlety of a jackhammer, suggested only half-jokingly that they make a few kids of their own so he'd have someone to play with. That had been the last he'd seen of Daphne. Yeah, he had a real way with the ladies. No wonder he worked exclusively with animals. "General Kenobi, target sighted, a thermal detonator," he said. In his mind, Noah pictured a galaxy slave clad in a chainmail bikini. If only the universe would actually send him someone like that. Then he changed his voice to a wise baritone with a bad English accent. "I trust you will find what you seek, and... shit." A pale shadow glimmered in the road right in front of him. He turned the wheel and eased off the accelerator. The truck fishtailed. Rudy scrabbled around on his seat, trying to stay put. In the middle of the road stood a big-eyed doe, ribs showing through its thick winter coat. He leaned on the horn. The doe sprang into action, sprinting across the road, leaping the ditch and disappearing into darkness. Midwinter was the worst time of year for the wildlife. The starving season. The radio station played its usual test of the emergency broadcast system. He turned it off. Almost home. There were no landmarks visible to tell him so, just an inner sense that he was nearing home. Other than college and vet school at Cornell, he'd never lived anywhere else. Each rural mailbox was supposed to be marked by a tall segment of rebar, but the snowdrifts were too deep, and the rebar and mailboxes were buried. He sensed but could not see Willow Lake, which lay to the left of the road. Willow Lake was the prettiest in the county, a natural beauty fringed by the Catskills wilderness. At the moment, it was invisible behind the curtain of Snowfall. Noah's place was across the road from the lake and slightly uphill. Along the lakefront itself were several old summer cottages, unoccupied in winter. "General Azkanabi, we need reinforcements," he said, hearing the imaginary music swell in his ears. "Send me someone without delay." In that instant, he noticed something. A glimmer of red in the snowy shadows. The whistled theme song died between his teeth. He eased off the accelerator and kept his eyes on the crimson glow, eventually making out a matching light. Tail lights, which seemed to belong to a car stuck in a snowbank. He stopped the truck in the middle of the road. The car was still running. He could see a plume of exhaust coming from its unnaturally angled pipe. The taillights poured an eerie red light into the night. One of the headlights was buried in the snowbank. The other illuminated the deer that had been hit. "Stay, boy," Noah ordered Rudy. He grabbed his kit, which contained enough tranquilizer to put down the deer. He lit his flashlight, an elastic headlamp. Switching on his hazard lights, he emerged into the stormy night. The flying snow and howling wind sliced at him like blades of ice. He hurried over to the car, spying a single occupant inside, a woman. She seemed to be fumbling with a cell phone. She lowered the window. "Thank God you came," she said, and got out of the car. She was inadequately dressed for the weather, that was for sure. A high-fashion coat and thin leather boots with tall, skinny heels. No hat, no gloves. Blonde hair blowing wildly in the wind partially obscured her face. "You got here so quickly," she yelled. He figured she thought he was from roadside assistance or the highway department. No time to explain. She seemed to share his urgency as she grabbed his sleeve and pulled him to the front of the car, wobbling a little on her boots. "Please," she said, her voice strained with distress. "I can't believe this happened. Do you think it can be saved?" He aimed the beam of the headlamp at the deer. It wasn't the doe he had spotted earlier, but a young buck with a broken antler on one side, 3 points on the other. Its eyes were glassy, and it panted in a way Noah recognized, the panicked breaths of an animal in shock. He saw no blood, but so often the injuries that killed were internal. Damn. He hated putting animals down. Hated it. "Please," the stranger said again. "You have to save it." "Hold this," he said, handing her a flashlight from his kit to supplement the headlamp. He eased himself down next to the animal, making a